everyone. Today we're going to replace it with some really exciting stuff that I happened to get as part of the packaging for some fish I got delivered to my house. Now when you get fish or anything that needs to be delivered to your house and it needs to be kept super cold, there's one way you can do it is to pack it in something called dry ice. What's dry ice? Well, it's different to wet ice. Wet ice is what happens when you put some water into your freezer. Water is a liquid. When you put it into your freezer, it gets hard and becomes a solid because you've made it super cold. If I leave this ice cube out in the room, it will slowly drip like it's doing now and turn back into water. Now, dry ice is actually a gas. The gas is carbon dioxide, and that's the stuff that we breathe out, part of what we breathe out of our lungs every day. It's also what makes your soda fizzy or your seltzer fizzy. And it's a gas that can be made into a solid. A gas is like oxygen or nitrogen, stuff in the air. You can't see it. If you squeeze carbon dioxide, the gas carbon dioxide, super much, really press it down. Now we can't do this. I can't do this. You can't do this. You need special conditions to do this. You can turn your carbon dioxide into a liquid. You can squish it until it liquefies. If you then take that carbon dioxide liquid and suddenly put it in a special pressure chamber, it will suddenly suck the heat out of it, and this liquid carbon dioxide will turn into something that looks just like snow or ice. It's much colder, however, and it does lots of really fun and funky things when we play around with it. But caution, it's so cold it can actually burn your hand a little bit. Not burn like a flame would do, but things that are too cold can be just as harmful to you as things that are too hot. So I always wear gloves if I'm handling dry ice. So let's see what this stuff looks like. The way my package came, it arrived with a block of dry ice, just like this. It looks just like a block of ice, very hard, that you would get in your freezer by freezing water, but we know it's much colder than that. And it doesn't stay in this state very long. It does something called sublimating. What a great word. It turns from this solid directly into a gas, slowly, or we can speed it up a little bit. So let's have fun. Now, I have a large bowl, and in it I just have plain water. Okay, now let's see what happens when I put some of my dry ice into the water. You ready? It'll be fun. Dry ice is very hard indeed. You might have to actually smack it to get it to break a little bit. And if you can't, well, oh, I managed it. If you take a little bit of this stuff out, whoa, see that steamy stuff? It's making fog right here. What fun! This fog is the carbon dioxide solid turning directly into a gas. It's super exciting. So I'm going to put the rest of my dry ice back in the cooler. We're going to use it later. Now, what's going to happen when I put this dry ice in water? Well, if I put a regular ice cube into a bowl of water, nothing terribly exciting will happen, except the ice cube will gradually turn the same temperature. It will warm up because the water is going to be warmer than the ice cube, because this is ice and this is water. So what happens when you put a cold object into a warm object? They both try and be the same temperature. The water will get colder, the ice cube will get warmer, it will melt and disappear. While we're waiting for it to melt, it's not very exciting. It's going to get smaller and smaller until it looks like the water, because that's what it is. But when we put this into water, something pretty exciting is going to happen. You ready? Okay. Whoa! Look at that! Look at that fog. You see that? Isn't that amazing? Wow! And it's bubbling. It's bubbling. It's such a shock for this super cold stuff to go into even what's regular water. It's not even hot water. All the time this is happening now, this dry ice is trying to get to be the same temperature as the water, in the same way my wet ice cube did. So in a while, this wonderful fog that looks so magical is going to stop, because the water is just going to get too cold. And the only way to get it to ramp up again is to add more water, warm it up a bit, and you'll get it to start all over again. Okay, so that looks very spooky and cool. Look, I can actually pick it up in my hands. Wow. Okay, let's make things a little more interesting. I've got some soap here. Let's put a little bit of soap in here and see what happens. Ooh. What I'm hoping will happen is we might get some bubbles to happen. Whoa, wouldn't that be cool? I'm not quite sure whether I'm going to manage that, because I can definitely see bubbles down there in the liquid, but I can't see many. It's growing in the bowl. Do you see those bubbles? Look. You see them? There they are. There they are. Look at that. They're growing and growing and growing. And the coolest thing about these bubbles is, I think they're going to come out at the top of the bowl without me doing anything. I think I'll just sit here and watch it. So much fun. Wow. Should we put some color in there? Why not? Let me get some coloring. There they are. Now every one of these bubbles, a regular soap bubble has air in it, so it just looks like clear. This has the liquid foggy carbon dioxide in, so actually you can pick up the bubbles and pop them and get more fog coming out. Right now I'm going to take some food coloring, just regular food coloring. Let's go for green. Totally spooky color. And I'm going to put just a couple of drops on top. Oh, wow. Sit on top like that. And now we can get a little bit of art going on here, because in the same way you can blow bubbles in a cup and put a piece of paper on top, you can actually do the same with this. We're going to lay the paper on top. Woo. And on the other side, look at those bubble shapes. Isn't that cool? That looks really amazing. You can put try different colors, and there's your artwork. Now, let's see what will happen if I add a little bit more water, because I want to warm up the carbon dioxide, the liquid the dry ice, to make it bubble even more. Whoa, that looks super exciting. Let's pick up the bubbles. Pick them up. Look, wow. I have a bubble that I can throw around. Oh my goodness, look at that. A bubble full of gas. Throw it around a little bit. When I pop the bubbles, all this fog comes out. What fun. What fun. And this goes on until the dry ice has all turned back into a gas. Look at that. It looks so cool. Should we add just a little more? Why not? Now, dry ice won't last forever. So even tomorrow, even if I kept this in my freezer, and that I still have not taken my gloves off because I want to make sure that I don't get hurt with this super duper cold ice. See if I can get a little bit more to happen. I might have to give that another thwack. Yeah, that works. Let me take my piece of dry ice. Okay, ready? Set. Woo! There it goes. Yes. Oh, that's really superb. Okay, how about another color? I have too many colors, right? How about we try some red? Red. Let's try that. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, let's see if we can add this to our special green bubble mix. Just lay it on top. That's all you have to do. The bubbles pop, and when they do that, they color the paper. Wow. 2 is always better than 1 when it comes to colors, right? Okay, look at that. Isn't that so much fun? Let's pop some bubbles and make a lot of fog. Woo! Now, I could put a flashlight underneath the bowl and turn the lights out, and this fog would glow. It would be very, very cool thing to do. There are so many ways that you can play with this and make super fun things happen. And once your reaction starts to calm down, just add more water. It's stopping because the water is getting too cold and the dry ice is not turning into a gas fast enough. So all I have to do is add more water, and there we go. Well, I hope you have fun with this. You may well find that some of the deliveries you get from markets or stores, particularly fish stores, come with a little dry ice. Don't waste it. Make sure that you ask Mom and Dad, store it sensibly for a day in a place where you give a little bit of air so that some of the dry ice can turn back into a gas without making anything explode in your refrigerator, and you can have ages of fun. And don't forget the gloves and the safety goggles too. Have a lot of fun with dry ice.